Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so when you think about the dangers of AI, what comes to mind? Killer robots, right? Or maybe massive job losses. But what if the real threat is something way more subtle? Today, we're going to dig into a really provocative text by Guy Lakeman, who argues that the biggest danger from AI isn't about our jobs at all. It's about our free will.
Yeah, pretty much every conversation you hear about AI focuses on either job displacement or some kind of rogue superintelligence. But this author, Guy Lakeman, he thinks we're looking in completely the wrong direction. He's saying the threat that's right around the corner isn't to our paychecks, but to our actual ability to think for ourselves.
So, what exactly is this subtle threat he's warning us about? Well, Lakeman's whole argument is that we got to stop picturing this, physical takeover. The real danger, he says, isn't some battle happening in our streets. It's a war for our minds. Basically, he's saying the real risk is how good AI is getting at shaping what we think. And because of that, what we do. He believes this ability to nudge and guide human behavior on a massive scale is way sneakier and more dangerous than any sci-fi robot army we could dream up. And to make sure this doesn't all sound too abstract, Lakeman lays out a really specific, kind of chilling prediction. He traces a direct line from the advertising we all know to something totally new, and he thinks it's going to be here by 2026. Yeah, that's soon. Okay, check out this timeline, because it really shows a scary evolution. We started back in the 50s with TV ads that just kind of created a general consumer culture. Then we get to today, with social media algorithms that target us with insane precision. But Lakeman's prediction for 2026, that's the final leap. He's talking about AI chatbots, the ones we're all starting to trust for information, seamlessly weaving ads right into their answers, using that trust to sell us stuff without us even realizing it.
And let me tell you, Lakeman does not pull any punches when he talks about this future. He literally calls it a manipulative, malevolent politician's dream come true. He sees these AI assistants we're all growing to trust as the absolute perfect tool for controlling people, basically turning our reliance on technology completely against us.
But why? Why does Lakeman think this manipulative AI is pretty much inevitable? Well, his argument isn't really just about the tech itself. It's a much deeper critique of power. He basically believes the people currently running the world are the last people you'd want in charge of these incredibly powerful new tools. So what he does is present this really stark comparison of two global systems. Now, according to his view, on one side you have what he calls the North Atlantic system. He says it represents only about 12% of the world's population and characterizes it as having a history driven by conflict and, his words, money-making killing machines. Then, on the other side, he points to the BRICS Plus nations, representing over half the global population. He describes this system as more of a cooperative partnership that's focused on open ownership of all production. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? This is where Lakeman proposes a totally different path. It's not about throwing out AI altogether. It's about building a fundamentally different kind of AI, something he calls machine intelligence. And this distinction he makes is absolutely crucial. For Lakeman, this machine intelligence, or MI, isn't just another clever tool, it's meant to be an ethical one. He's imagining a system built on pure math, with a built-in prime directive to do no harm. And because it would have this huge knowledge base, it could rise above what he calls the insanity of cultural morals. All the contradictory and kind of irrational beliefs that he thinks cause all our human conflicts. And this slide really gets to the heart of why Lakeman thinks MI is just better. He basically contrasts our communication, which is, let's be honest, often messy, slow, and full of misunderstandings, with the incredible speed and accuracy of machines. His argument is that because machines can operate in the universal language of math, they can reach a level of clarity and truth that we humans just aren't capable of. But just believing MI is superior isn't enough, right? Lakeman argues that we have an actual ethical imperative to do something about it. He lays out this whole vision for a new kind of society, one that's completely reorganized around this higher form of intelligence. And he breaks it down into 3 basic steps. Step 1, we have to prioritize intelligence at the absolute highest academic levels. Step 2, we put that intelligence, the MI, to work managing our resources and making sure everyone's needs are met. And the final and maybe most important step is using that MI as a shield to defend this new society from what he calls the antiquated ideals of elite ownership. To kind of sum all this up, Lakeman actually rewrites a really famous saying. You know the one. From each according to his ability to each according to his need? Well, his version puts the focus squarely on intellect. The whole goal is to use our collective intelligence not to make a profit, but to create a comfortable life for everyone. A life that's totally free from the noise of politics and what he calls the greed-driven lies of advertising. So, this brings us to Lakeman's final and maybe most critical point. It's not enough to just build this machine intelligence. We have to actively educate it with this ethical framework. In his view, that's the only way to build a real safeguard against the kind of manipulative forces that have pretty much defined all of human history. And there you have it. That's Guy Lakeman's vision in a nutshell. A future that's guided by a higher, mathematical intelligence, one that's specifically designed to save us from our own worst impulses. It's a pretty radical idea, for sure. And it leaves us with this huge, really profound question. Can a tool, any tool, ever truly be more ethical than the people who created it?